Hey, what's going on, family? Good evening, good evening. We're rolling in tonight. Hope all is well. See Maggie DeShazer and Melvin Reed. What's happening? Glad to have you guys here. Most definitely. Most definitely. So, uh, so we'll be free flowing tonight. Easy for me to say, huh? All right. There's my daughter, Vo Vibes. What's happening, Boy Shay? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Melanated Diasporan, what's up? What's up? Bob BK, what's going on? The man, what's up, bro? You got it. You got it. Misty Waterfall, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, all you guys. So we rolling here, rolling in. All right. So I am Reginald Kuakaru, Reginald Martin. So I hope people that were former Christians, or maybe even people that might even still be Christian, and they're kind of like vacillating a little bit, they need to look at it a little bit more and understand it a little bit more. So, and I get there, been there, done that, got a T-shirt. Rob the Creator, what's happening? Good to see you again. Good to see you again, as always. But I help people get over negative religious programming, because it really, once you get over the negative programming, you're able to live life boldly and authentically. And authentic means of undisputed origin. The only thing that is of undisputed origin is what comes from within you, you know. So you live boldly, authentically, and unapologetically you. You're not trying to be somebody else or be ashamed of who you are. You are who you are. God made you, you know. The Creator made you, the All made you. So you live it unapologetically and you do it on your terms without any guilt or shame. If you're not living like that, it's time you start living that way because that's what makes life magical. Believe me, it makes life absolutely magical when you can live it boldly, authentically, unapologetically, and on your terms without any guilt or shame. Because when you're living through the negative Christian programming, you are usually, if you're having fun, if you're enjoying life, then you're living through some kind of guilt for having too much fun. Why? Because it might be a sin. Not that it is, you know, but it could be, you know. If you're liking it too much, it's probably a sin, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. You are here to enjoy life. You are in hell now. If you're in hell, you have to turn that around. That's what you're here to do. You're here to switch that negative energy to positive. Transmute is one of the terms that is called. Transmute that energy from negative to positive. That's what you're supposed to do with life because you're going to always have the opposites. There's always going to be the possibility of good and bad. Always. That's just the way we exist in this universe. There's always the polarity. But which one do you choose to focus on and which one do you choose to create into your life? Most of us are unconscious creators. We don't even know what we do or how we do it. We just think it's something that just all of a sudden comes down from us or to us. Life happens to us. But that's just not the case. That's just not the truth. Life happens through us. It is the reflection of what is within us. Okay? You are so powerful, you don't even know it. The ancients always say that life is an illusion or this reality is an illusion. And a lot of times we get stuck into this mode of thinking, well, it's an illusion. No, it ain't. It's real. I can touch me. I mean, I had a whole glass of Kool-Aid a little bit ago. That Kool-Aid was real good, you know? So it's real. But that's not what they meant. What they meant is the illusion is that you are powerless over this reality. Because the truth is you are a creator. That's the truth of the matter. All right. But you have to understand the science. You have to know the principles. Okay. And that's one of the things that I endeavor to teach here at a Kemetic Centered Living is to teach you these principles to empower you. Quit playing the victim. We are not victims. We are creators. Either you can choose to be the creator or you can choose to be the victim. Those are polarities. One cannot exist inside the other. Can't exist in the same place. It's one or the other. Which one are you? Okay. Yes, we are powerful and we must tap into that. But we got to know that. And we've been taught all of these things to make us think that we got to wait on a savior, that something out there is more powerful than us and is ready to beat us down if we take the wrong step or whatever. That's just not the case. Okay. You are powerful. You are powerful. So, all right. Well, guys, thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. So we're going to roll with some questions tonight. So I'd like to thank Nell Quan Jones. He was the first giver through through Cash App tonight. So he gave $19. Said he was tithing. Thank you, Nell Quan. Definitely appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. Last week we had D. Brooks gave 11. The Great Iconic Man gave 10. Cynthia Williams gave 15. Bernadette Coleman gave 5. And Brenda Chambliss gave 20. And Ramonica gave 5.55. So thank you guys all for doing that. Definitely appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you. But you know what? This is what I know. That gift was not about me. I was the recipient. But I know in reality what you're doing is priming that pump. Okay? If you don't know what priming the pump is about, you better ask somebody. Ask somebody. Okay? Because priming the pump is what it's about. If you don't know that principle, you got to give a little in order for the universe to know what it is that you desire. You got to give it gladly. You got to give it with gratitude. You know? Can't be stingy. Can't be the, dang, I guess I'm going to give him this $5 and man, I really need that $5 because I'm really broke. You priming the pump for broke. Okay? If it's love, I talk in terms of money because that's a lot of times what affects us the most is finances. That's something that's usually front and center for most of us. Okay, it's finances. But priming the pump is about anything that you want in life. If you want more love, you have to be that. You have to love. You have to give a little in order to get more back, to have it reflected back to you. Okay? So it's not just about money, but I'm definitely appreciative of it. I'm appreciative of you guys that do give and that give to me. But it does not have to be to me. Okay? It can be to anybody. Give to your favorite charity. Make more money so you can give to the charities and stuff in your community that matter to you most. Okay? I like to go out to eat. One of the things I like to do is if my waiter or waitress is halfway decent, I'll usually give them way more than 20% on a tip. Okay. I mean, I've given 100% on a tip, you know, and do that often. So 50% all the time, you know, but it's my way because I know that these waiters and waitresses work hard for what they do. You know, and people ain't always nice. When you're in a service business, people ain't always nice, you know. So if they're halfway good, I prime the pump by giving a little bit extra to them and gladly to do it and to help them, you know. So prime that pump as much as you can when you can. Michael Peaks is in the house. What's going on? What's going on? Robert Bush, I see you. I see you. You Golden State lover, you. Golden State's whooping up on my Mavs. I don't appreciate that. Although the Mavs got a win last night. But I think it's pretty much over, guys. It's over. Mavs season's coming to an end. I hate it, But I guess all good things must come to an end. But wait till next year. Woo! Can't wait to see. All right, all right. Ruben Smith, what's happening? Eugene Dorsey, good to see you. Good to see you. What's happening? What's happening? All right, all right. It's Rawlicious. What's going on? Good to see you, family. Good to see you. Dark Goddess is in the house. What's happening, Dark Goddess? All right, we got any good questions tonight? Y'all been coming strong these last couple of weeks, man. Been coming real strong. So appreciate that. C Mac is in the house. Man, I ain't seen you in a month of Sundays. What's going on, C Mac? What's happening? Rather creator. Don't speak that over Dallas. Anything can happen to you. That's true. You true. That's true. Things can happen. But I'm just looking at the odds, you know. The odds are that when you're down 3-0, it's really hard to come back from that. I don't know anybody that has. So we'll see. I'm hoping. I'll keep my fingers crossed. Keep hope alive. So yeah, we'll do. We'll do. All right, Misty Waterfall, and thank you. I'm one of your students. When will I learn about the pancake method? It's coming up in the lessons. It's coming up in the lessons, Misty Waterfall. So I forget which lesson that is. And Misty Waterfall gave $20. So I forget which lesson that is. But also, Misty, you need to communicate with me about that through my website channel and stuff. So okay. So you want information? Make sure that you check out the welcome video, and it shows you how to contact me and stuff on that. You know, but support at KemeticCenteredLiving.com. So that's one of the ways. So we can talk through that. Okay. And but yeah, that is for class. So I'll teach you that. So most definitely. And you can also, if you're on in our Facebook group, we can talk about it in our Facebook group as well, Misty. So there's different channels you can talk with me. So that stuff, I talk to the people who are basically immersed in these ideas and those that are in my class. So that's what I teach that good stuff on. Okay. Let's see. I was watching a video and just need some clarity. What's your opinion on the New Earth shift? Okay. Meds with Tali. Meds with Tali. I am not familiar with that idea. So I know the idea of people talking about a new Earth in the sense that there is like this like new place over there. And I know usually when they talk about this idea, they think of it as like, you know, we're going to move to this new place. But the shift is really a dimensional shift. Okay. So it's not a new earth over there, it's a new earth in here. And you're literally able to shift your consciousness to, and we do this all the time automatically anyway. It's just so natural to us that we don't realize what's happening. But when you change your beliefs, you change your opinion, you change something that was different than what you thought before, your conscious literally moves into a new earth. Okay, you move into a new consciousness with people and places that are vibing with you on those things. It's just a natural process for us. So that's not something that we have to think in terms of we got to do something great and grandiose to do that. That's the most natural thing for our consciousness to do, is that when we learn something new, it shifts us automatically to a new earth in a sense. Okay. And a new earth again is not a different place necessarily. It is a shift in your consciousness. And when you think about the multiverse and the many trillions of possibilities that are out there, all of those are possible, and our consciousness shifts through those. Not necessarily our physical body, but our consciousness shifts and moves into these new earths. Okay, so that's what happens. Okay. Good question. Good question. All right. So good right off the bat. Had a good question right off the bat. All right. Let's go. Let's do this. So any more good questions? Good questions. So yeah. I'm looking. All right. All right. I guess y'all just hear me filibuster then. Or maybe I'll start singing. No, y'all don't want to hear me singing. But anyway. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Dark Goddess says something about a movie about the space traders. You know, when Hollywood show you a movie, it's true that that's how you tell you. Y'all seen the movie Space Traders? Now, I've never seen that movie, Dark Goddess. So I've never seen the movie Space Traders. Do we also make soul contracts with pets? Yeah, yeah. So pets are a different consciousness, a different type of consciousness, and a different type of energy. But yes, so we make soul contracts with pets, or pets can follow us through incarnations and stuff. So that's very possible. But you got to think like pets is really pets, and the idea of pets is a first world. You know, we got the third world and first world, so it's really a first world, or a more of an affluent society type of a deal. Okay, because in third world countries, they don't think of animals in terms of having a pet, because you got to think in terms of feeding them and stuff like that. Okay, so pets is definitely, from our perspective here in the United States, that's a first world idea. Okay, so a lot of countries don't even think in terms of pets. Okay, let's see, but great question, great question. Don't dream of labor. What are your thoughts on this? I'm not sure what you mean, Eugene. You got to give me some context there, brother. When you say I don't dream of labor, I don't know what you mean there. Okay. Uh, let's see. Wait a minute. Ruben says, "What is your opinion on elementary schools teach shooting in Texas?" I think it is absolutely horrible, horrific. Um, but outside of that, Eugene, I don't care to give an opinion on that. I mean, it's like, man, we had our Zoom meeting, and somebody brought this to my attention that one of the students in the Zoom meeting was asking, and they thought that the shooting in Buffalo was in Texas. And she was saying, you know what, that brother was really prophetic. And this was Saturday that we were talking about it, and then the shooting happened the other day. And I was like, wow, I hadn't thought about it, but that's true. But it's horrific for all of us, that deal with that. So deal with what's going on there. So. But outside of any other opinions, I'm going to steer clear of that, because I probably end up saying the wrong thing. So I'll leave that alone. But good question, good question. Let's see, let's see. Egyptian Desire says, when you're given the gift of Holy Spirit, that means you are connected to Source and you are living in your first eye. When you say the gift of Holy Spirit, we're all connected. We all have that gift. That's what we are. I mean, we're souls in human form. So that's not necessarily a gift. So I'm not. Maybe I'm interpreting what you're saying a little bit differently, but that's not a gift. That's what we are naturally. Okay. Let's see. And Tara Sun says, what is the meaning of these tragic situations that happened, like the one on yesterday, of all those babies? Was this part of the soul's mission? On some level, it is. Tara's definitely Tara's son, and it is. And I think that from that perspective, we are, because a lot of these things have been happening, so many back to back, man. These shootings like this. And I think in our country, especially in the United States, because that seems to where they're happening so much, and people have easy access to these guns and stuff like that. But I think on some level, it's to wake us up to the gun violence, and not only the gun violence, but you got to think about the people who are like exploding and onto the scene like this, literally. I mean, and what's happening inside them, because they're literally like the tip of the iceberg for so many people. They're just the extreme. you know, and there's a lot of people feeling some kind of way about, you know, the things that are going on in our country around the world. So to me, there is definitely some level of, you know, wake up, people, you know, and to wake up to what's happening, you know, wake up to what's happening with us. So the gun violence is the extreme, but I think there's a lot percolating and boiling underneath that we're not addressing, you know, and I think that's a lot of what this is telling us. At least that's the way I see it, you know. Uh, let's see. So that's what you meant, Ruben. So they clarified that question for you. Gotcha. Okay. So yeah. Uh, so yeah. So there's a lot going on. A lot going on with this, man. So it's and I know it affects us a lot in a negative way. You know, just and we really, it's really incumbent upon us to focus on what we do want. You know, because we can get pulled off course with a lot of this stuff that's going on. That doesn't mean that we ignore what's going on, but we have to see it in another light, one that's not debilitating, one that doesn't put us in fear. Because I mean, you think about the parents and their children took their children to school that morning. I mean, though all those children went to school that morning, and you just never, well, I won't say you never, but they probably never considered that at all, that happened, you know. So it's horrific. I don't know about you. I don't know, you don't subscribe to the negative confessions of Ma'at, but Ma'at is also about balance. Can you speak to restoring balance in life to obtain healing from past hurts and guilt? Um, Got to give me a little bit more specific. What do you mean? You saying, because I mean, just generally, just about us healing ourselves. I mean, that just comes from us going through our life experiences and getting over them. You know, so yeah. So something. I probably need a little bit more information and how you're thinking about that, D. So just need a little bit more information there. But that's probably something too that we can address in class or in the meetings, in the Zoom meetings and stuff too. We can really get deep with that. Let's see. What are your thoughts about Brenda Shambliss? Thank you, Brenda. Definitely appreciate that question there. So, what are your thoughts about healing, the ability to heal others? So there is definitely the ability to hold the space or open the space for somebody to heal. But I think ultimately we heal ourselves. But some people do have the gift that they can hold the space or the energy and help you to get to that energetic space or state that you need to heal. But like Reiki, I think of one of those like healing with the energy of the hands and stuff. That is something that a person has a gift where they can help you raise your vibration or whatever, or focus you on what you need to heal. But you're essentially doing that for yourself. You don't have the ability to, because it's really, you have the ability, somebody can believe so much in what you do that it gives them permission to heal themselves. That's another way to look at it, you know. And a lot of times that happens with us and doctors, that we put so much stock in the power of doctors that they end up opening up the space for us to heal ourselves, because we release the fear or the limitation in the belief that we can heal ourselves. Okay, does that make sense, Brenda? So that's how I look at that. So it's not that somebody else can heal us. We heal ourselves, but they can give us permission to do that for ourselves. All right. Ruben Smith gave $20. Thank you, brother. Definitely appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you. All right. Is there such a thing as Egyptian astrology or Kemetic astrology? That's a question for my daughter. They're Vo Vibe. So Vo, yeah. Well, Shay, if you can put a answer to that question, type it up or whatever. So is there a difference between Egyptian astrology or Kemetic astrology? Now, as far as Egyptian and Kemetic, they're both the same thing, Tara's son. So Kemet is just the older version of ancient Egypt. So whereas Egypt might be, let's just say Egypt is 5,000 years old. Well, Kemet in that same area existed, say 15, 20,000 years ago. So one merges into the other. Okay. So, but there is like sidereal astrology or sidereal astrology and stuff like that. So that might be a little bit different from the astrology that we have. Let's see here. Okay. Uh, Heru Mahat, you're asking me to think like a white policeman on that question. I don't know. I mean, we all have our ideas about it, you know, but you know, our black skin can be threatening to white people, you know, in a lot of instances. So I that's why for me, I quit trying to be. I just remember growing up, you know, I'm tall, you know, 6'3", and I'm a big guy. So growing up, one of the things, it was almost like as a black male, you know, just in a tall black male moving through society, a lot of times people felt threatened no matter what I was doing, you know. And it was like a lot of times I'd almost walk through, say, a crowd of white people almost apologizing, you know, just so. But I had to learn to stop doing that because it's not my job to make them feel comfortable about me. You know, if they're prejudiced, if they're racist, that's not my job. So I quit trying to, you know, make white people feel comfortable around me. If they're uncomfortable, that's their problem. They need to deal with it, you know. So I don't apologize or worry about that anymore. I'm just going to be who I am, and the people who are for me, and the people who are not, they're not. The ones that are not, I keep it moving. I don't worry about them. I don't focus on them. And a lot of times we have racism and white people take up so much space in our minds and in our head day to day that we don't even know who we are. We live relative to racists. Everything that we do is trying to prove something to them or change their heart. And that's not our job to do. And we have to stop trying to make everybody comfortable with us and just be us and create from the space of who we are. Okay, so that's one of my, again, just in my 60 years of living, I realized that if a person wants to be uncomfortable, I cannot do anything for them. If they're prejudiced, they're racist, that's their problem, not mine. And I quit worrying about it. Okay. All right. Michael Peaks gave $20. Thank you, Michael Peaks. What's up, brother? Says priming the pump. All right. Plus letting family know I'm sending much love and abundance to everyone. Thank you, brother. Definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. For sure, for sure. All right, Judy Smith Randall gave 1515, says enormous gratitude for your teachings and my application of those teachings. All right, tee she's laughing. Judy's been talking about some big checks she's been getting lately. She's been conjuring up some checks, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so Voice gave a little answer. It says astrology is the study of the planets as it relates to our inner universe. In my opinion, it isn't specific to any civilization, but is used by all to an extent. Yeah, I can agree with that. Most definitely. Most definitely. So the way the ancients looked at that is that the planets and the stars are literally the outer expression of our inner world. So it's like you can look at the planets and the stars to analyze our inner world. So that's why astrology can work a lot of times. It's a very, very powerful principle. The principle of anthropocosmos is what it's called. Okay. So Voice says sidereal, Western placidus are different methods of calculation. Okay, so, I call it sidereal. Sidereal. I can never get that right. But yeah. All right, all right, all right. Let's see here. Yeah, I really and I hear you, Eugene. So Eugene said, I watched a video of John Stewart explain the problem with white people. Informative, white comfort over black survival. Yeah, and like I said, it's just, to me, we spend so much time worrying about what white people think about us that we can't even be who we are. So, like I said, To me, again, it's more about what we focus on. What do we want to create in our lives? And if we're and a lot of times this is what when we focus so much on trying to cure white people of racism, this is really what it's saying to me, is that white people, y'all are so powerful that until y'all change, my life is going to be miserable. Until white racist people and white supremacy and racism is over with, I have no power to do anything in my life. That's what our focus means, when that's just not the truth. Okay? So we got to focus on what we want, and really creating from within us the world that we want reflected. And we cannot change the reflection, because what we're doing, we're trying to change races. We are literally trying to change the reflection. It's like looking in a mirror and expecting the reflection to smile. It doesn't happen that way. We know that naturally. But because we've been taught some other way about what reality is in our lives, that is something outside of us that's just happening, we don't understand the correlation of what is within us is being reflected back. Okay? So to me, quit focusing on trying to change racism and white supremacy, and let's focus on what we can do to make our world better for us. You know, that doesn't mean that I have to hate somebody else to make my world better. That's not what it's about at all. But it means that I love me, I love my people, I love my community so much that I want to do something extraordinary for them. I want to do something extraordinary for me. But trying to change white people and racist white people and trying to change their hearts, it's a waste of time. You know, that's one of the things living on my earth, living on this earth for my years, that I've realized is trying to change someone else is an absolute waste of time. And it's egotistical on the part in that you believe that you can change somebody else to fit what you need and what you want. But you have more power over creating your world than you think. Okay. All right. And let's see here. Heru Ma'at, DOP, already gave that $1,000 again. Wait a minute. I almost stripped the last time he do this. I sure did. Y'all almost got an eye full. But thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you. And Cynthia gave $20. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you very much. Very much. All right. All right. All right. People on that, people doing that, priming that pump tonight. Priming that pump. All right. Let's see. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Absolutely, positively. And that's what we got to do, guys, is we have to change, because believe me, I've heard the same conversations in my 60 years. I've heard the same conversations in the 70s, 80s, and 90s that we're having now. You know, talking about the same stuff and doing the same things over and over and over. They didn't work 60 or 40 years ago, and they still ain't working now. So why do we keep doing the same stuff? That's what my thinking is, and this is something I realized a long time ago, that the conversations that we're having is not changing things for us as a people. They're not changing things for us. So there has to be something. There has to be another way. I've heard the terminology spread knowledge, spread knowledge. The internet in this day and age, we can spread knowledge in an instant around the world. We can all have instantaneous access to any knowledge that we want. But things are not changing. So it's not just about knowledge. There has to be something different. And that's why I created the African Mind Rewire. There has to be something different. So the way I approach these ideas is from a different perspective. It's about empowering yourself. It's about living life on your terms. But as long as you think something or somebody out there is more powerful than you, because this is the other thing I hear. A lot of so-called conscious people will say, man, you can't let them, or they won't let you do this. They won't let you do that. Fuck them. Do you. You create. Figure out what it is that you want to do and quit worrying about them. First of all, start with yourself, spread it to your family, who then spreads it to your communities, and then spread it out from there. But quit worrying about what they do or don't do for you. We got to stop that. It is so frustrating to hear people sit around and talk about how white people and racism and the systematic racism needs to change. Okay? There are communities within the United States that don't worry about the races. Asian, Mexican, all these communities, they build communities within the cities. But in Black communities, we are not economically self-sustainable. We don't build the economic foundation in our own communities. And my thinking and my experiences is that we don't build an economic foundation because we don't believe that we have the wherewithal to even start businesses. We don't have the confidence to start a business, because any business you start has a personal development plan attached to it. I don't care what it is. And if you live with self-doubt and negative programming that you can't do anything without Jesus, I can do nothing without God, I'm a wretch, I'm unworthy, you're not going to start businesses. You might start other churches, which is what we do. And we rent those damn buildings from somebody else. We don't, half the times we don't even own those churches, So again, something has to change, people. And it has to change from in here. It's not out there. We got to do something different. Says Reginald, I agree. We give too much power to racist white people. It seems like we don't think we're good enough unless white people make us legitimate. We're great in spite of racism. I agree with you 100%. So D Turner, absolutely, positively. That's my sentiments exactly. That if white people don't change, nothing will change for Black people. That's the way we look at it too often. And we get angry at white people because they're not changing. That's not their job. The truth of the matter. It's not their job. It's our job to change and do the things that we need to do for us. If the institutions do not welcome us, start our own institutions. We were better off and I'm speaking specifically about the United States. We were better off economically during segregation than we are now. During segregation, we had to have our own hotels. We had to have our own doctor's offices. We had to have our own dry cleaners. We had to have all these things because the system wouldn't allow us to merge into their systems, into their economic system. So we had to create those in our own community. Now, I know that racist white people end up tearing down and burning down a lot of these communities when they became successful and self-sustaining through jealousy, because there was a lot of angry white people that looked at, wait a minute, you doing better than me? And that's the way they looked at it. So it's like the middle class Blacks and whites and the poor middle class Blacks and whites, we keep on fighting each other over the same scraps. It's crazy. It's crazy. Let's see. And Brenda Shannon says, that's why I enjoy your teachings. You keep it real. The ideologies are not new, but you deliver it so well. Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate that. Yeah, and Brenda, to me, it's really about looking at things truthful. And it's about looking at me truthful too. Because I have to take responsibility for me and for what I do in my life. I can't keep blaming everybody else. Does racism happen? Absolutely, positively. Has it impacted the Black community? Absolutely, positively it has. Does it still Absolutely, positively, it does. But that means that we are to find a way around it, out of it, through it. We can't keep waiting on other people to change to let us succeed. That's bullshit. Plain and simple. We have to figure out a way. And as long as we are thinking like victims, we cannot think outside that box. Either you are a victim or a god, but you cannot be both. And the way I say, I say this over and over, we are gods and goddesses in training. We are creators in training. And the tough times are made to make us overcome and to come up with new ideas and to come up with new ways and not give into it. That's what those times are meant for. Okay? Plain and simple. All right, all right, all right. Let's see. And let's see. What's up, April? That's right. You can't go forward looking in the rearview mirror. Absolutely. Good analogy. I like it. I like it. Can't go forward looking in the rearview mirror. And really, a lot of times we use racism as an excuse for our own fears because we don't want to be accountable for us doing for us. And this is one of the other arguments that I hate. I hate hearing people say capitalism is not for the black man. Okay, fine. What other system are you going to work in? What other system besides capitalism are you going to do? There ain't another one. So if you don't learn to work in this system, then you're SOL. So again, quit using that lame ass excuse that capitalism is not for the black man. Everybody else uses it. Stop. Figure out a way. Figure out a way. And man, we beat up on ourselves and beat up on each other so much. We can't even trust each other doing business. So often we look at ourselves as defective on some level. We don't even love who we are, but we want somebody else to love us. Stop it. Stop it. All right. Miss M gave $5. Thank you, Miss M. Definitely appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you very, very much. All right. Let's see. Let's see. So I'm just saying, guys, the power that to change anything is going to come from within us first. That's just Kemetic law. That's the law of the universe. That the what is outside of us reflects what is within us. Look at our communities. We can do something different. We got money. That's not even the issue in the black communities. There's enough money to go around. It's a matter of what we're deciding to do with it. We need real estate investors, man. We need grocery stores in the southern part of Dallas that I've lived most of my life. There might be one grocery store in 20 square miles. One grocery store. Why don't we as a people do something and put grocery stores, start our own grocery stores? Service our communities. Now, Mexican Americans, they do that. They go in and they put grocery stores in the same communities that we're living in and do well. But we don't do the same thing. And then we get mad at the Mexican Americans for putting up the grocery store right in our own communities where they're living too, obviously. It's stupidity to me. It's stupidity. We can do it. We got to do something different, but we have to change our mindset, and we have to change it from our own inner place. We got to do that. And that's again with this class and with this teaching, it is about teaching you to be bold and unapologetically you. Then you will live life on your terms. When you believe in you, there ain't nothing that can stop you. Believe me. Teachers, this is why Black people return back here after transitioning due to being victims of racism. It can be. It can be. If you don't learn your lesson, then you're going to get a chance to do it over again. So that's what happens over and over. So absolutely. So it's Rawlicious Gabe 1999. Thank you, Adrian. Definitely appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you. And then Lawrence Fisher gave $20. Thank you, brother. Definitely appreciate you, Lawrence. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, all right. Man, y'all priming it. Y'all priming it. All right. All right. Router Creator says hit that like button. Come on, hit that like button. Let's see. Gerald Horn. If you're asking what the price is, that's the wrong price, the wrong question to ask first off. Okay. But my class right now is closed, and it's at African Mind Rewire. And if you want to get more information on it, you can go there, brother. So African Mind Rewire. All right. But right now, $37 a month to start the class when it's open. Okay. All right. So that's one way to do it. Okay. Uh, let's see. But it's worth a whole hell of a lot more than that. I'll tell you that. It'll change your doggone life. Oh, let's see. Yeah, actually, Misty, that actually is lower now. So I actually lowered the price to $370 a year. Okay. So I actually changed that. So, but thank you. So yeah. So, but I want to give everybody access to it. I've charged a whole lot more before, but I lowered it. So give everybody the chance to access it. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. All right. Any more questions? You betcha, Missy. Thank you. Thank you. So you bet. I appreciate that you're in the class too. Most definitely. Most definitely. So, but yeah. Let's see. Eli gave $20 or $2. Thank you, Eli. Definitely appreciate you, brother. Says I feel drained, Reg. I'm glad you went live today. Oh, every Wednesday night, Eli. Every Wednesday night. So Eli's been with me. He's been following me, man, for years. So I always have appreciated Eli because he's always been encouraging me. Even before, man, I had a whole lot of followers on YouTube. Eli was there. So definitely appreciate you, Eli. So thank you so much. Let's see. What are your thoughts on suicide? Give me Salim or Salam. Give me a little bit more what you mean by that. What are you looking for there? Suicide, people killing themselves. Is it a sin? No, because sin doesn't exist. Are there consequences? Yes, there are consequences, but it's not a punishment necessarily. Okay. Let's see. Can you explain the difference between? Okay, that's a history question, but sure. So Moors are just another name that Europeans call Black people. So Moors were usually Arabic Black people. So that's all. So the Moors opened up like the colleges and stuff in Spain. So the first universities in Europe were actually opened up by Moors, and Moors is just a word for Black. So or it could be just a euphemism for Black. That's all. But there's a lot of Kemetic teachings in Arabic from that. All the stuff that Columbus knew, the world was round and stuff like that. Who was it? Galileo? A lot of them. the teachings that they got and brought to the world that changed their outlook on a lot of stuff. Because I mean, in the Dark Ages, the Bible taught that the world was flat and all that kind of stuff, you know. But it was the teachings of ancient Kemet that filtered through Europe that changed a lot of that. Okay, let's see. All right, Davion Eugene Williams gave $9.99. Thank you, thank you. Definitely appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. Let's see. All right, April Ross gave that big $49.99. Thank you, April. Definitely appreciate you. Spitting facts as usual, just priming the pump and appreciating. Thank you very much, sister. Definitely appreciate you. April's planning a big trip for KCL, so she's got something in the works. So we all gonna be we might be taking a trip to Africa here early next year. So get us going, April. Get us going. So just putting it out there. Just putting it out there. All right. Do hell exist like fire? Okay, that's a good question. So, Lord God is here asking questions. Oh my God, oh my goodness. God is asking, does hell exist? Damn, don't you know you created it? I'm messing with you, Lord God. I'm messing with you. But good question. Good question. No, hell does not exist. Hell no. Hell does not exist. Think about it from a logical perspective. So if hell is supposed to be a metaphysical existence, in other words, beyond the physical, okay, it's in the spirit world, but our spirit, our souls are supposed to go and burn in hell. Is there fire beyond the physical? Is there oxygen that can sustain a fire? If you're no longer in your body, what burns? I mean, just think about it logically. Okay? How could this lake of fire exist for souls that just doesn't have any physical material to even burn? Okay? Christianity is the only religious system that has the concept of an eternal hell that you can go to forever. Now, I want you to think about it in this terms too, in this term. So the way Christianity teaches us, God is our Father. Okay, and I'm talking about Christian teachers, not Kemetic teachings, because that's a whole nother meaning, Kemetic teaching wise. But let's just look at it from the Christian perspective. God is our Father. Now I have 2 children. I'm a father. 2 children, love them. I would do anything for them. I would give my life for my children. Okay. Now, being a father, I would think, okay, how would God think about it? If I'm one of God's children, would God give his life for me? Okay, maybe Jesus did. Okay. But let's think about this. Is there anything on this earth that my children could do that I would never forgive them for, and they would burn in hell for eternity for doing it? Is there anything that my children, who I love dearly, could do that I would never ever forgive them for? That they could never ever be forgiven for and burn for all eternity? What kind of justice would that be, for one? And 2, what kind of a human being would I be? Could I send my children, just say I send them to jail, could I send them for jail for the rest of their life for for something that they did that I could never forgive them for? What kind of a father would I be? Would I be a just father? Would a just God send souls to hell for eternity, never having the ability to be forgiven or right what was wrong? How is that any kind of justice? So from that perspective itself, does hell even make sense? Am I more compassionate than the Christian God? Could I be more compassionate than him? Is that possible? A human being that does not have the knowledge and wisdom of the all-knowing creator, I can be more compassionate than that creator? Think about that. Just from a logical perspective. So does hell exist? Hell no. Thank you for that question, Lord God. Thank you, Lord God. Lord God, He gave us a good question tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yeah, amen. Glad God showed up tonight. We don't have him too often. Just me, the Antichrist. Oh man, I'm sorry. I gotta laugh at myself sometimes, you know. Oh, let's see. Would it be fair to surmise that all of the various multiverses, include non-human beings? Absolutely, positively, because we are not the only beings in existence. So there are non-physical beings. So absolutely, the multiverse contains any multitude of possibilities. So who is it? Joseph Campbell said, "God is a mystery that man cannot understand. That contains all instances of being and non-being." Okay, so it's just a mystery that we call it God. You know. I like to call it the all, because the all is all. Okay, there's one all. All right. So yeah. All right, all right, all right. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Tony Stokes says, "Greeting KCL family and especially to the learned. Very appreciated, bro Martin. Thanks for being and sharing with us, Noble." Oh, you're most welcome. You're most welcome. Thank you for being here. And thank you for the kind words. Definitely appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. Let's see. Anybody else? Any more questions? Any more questions? Let's see. Dani Wilson says, "Are angels aspects of ourselves or other beings?" That's a good question. And could they be aspects of our consciousness? Uh, is the way that we think of beings and other aspects, or could they be other aspects of ourselves? That's a possibility. But I think the way that we think about angels, in a sense, of angels, that there are other beings. So that's how most people would prefer to perceive them. Okay, and this is the way I look at this. Because understand that most of us really get lost in the objective way that humanity and society looks at things. In other words, if everybody else doesn't agree on it, then it cannot be real. And that's just not the truth. Okay? So everybody doesn't have to believe in angels for them to be real. Everybody does not believe in demons. But for a lot of people, demons are very real. Okay? All you need is for one individual to be able to vibrate to a level to where those beings exist. Okay? So objectively, there does not have to be agreement for something to be real. There does not have to be everybody on the same agreement. And when you understand that, you are going to empower yourself because you'll recognize that your experience is unique and it does not have to agree with everybody else. Okay? So if you believe that angels are real, they are for you. And that is all that matters. Plain and simple. Your ancestors, you believe your ancestors help you and they are real. All you need to believe, you need to be the only one that believes that. That's all that matters. Because you create your reality. You create the power or disempowerment in your reality. Plain and simple. That's how powerful you are. So Angels can be aspects of ourselves. I think that's an empowering way to look at it. But most of us look at angels as being something different from us. Okay. So yeah. Exactly, Brenda. Exactly. Yep. We can create angels and demons because we're the creators. We're the creators. There are so many people, especially I get a lot of this from people from African countries that ask me about demons, and being possessed by demons. And I say to them that demons exist in their belief system because most of the world does not believe in demons. Most of the world does not believe that demons can possess us and do things to us. But in their belief system, they do. And in their belief system, it is very real for them. Plain and simple. But once you look at your world as yourself being the creator, then there is no demon or anything else that has more power over you than you do for yourself. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Good point. Good point, Brenda. Most definitely. Uh, let's see. James W. James, are we evolving back to using hieroglyphs? They keep popping up in my journals. It might not be us, but James, it might be you. That's again, you're asking, is that true for all of us? But you might have some kind of a gift that you can decipher the hieroglyphs that a lot of us don't. So it's become a reality for you. But if it doesn't do the same for all of us, don't discount what you are getting. Because you might be able to bring something through the earth, through this earth plane that nobody else can. But you got to have the confidence in your ability and your own unique experience. If that makes any sense at all. Okay? And that's what I can say to anybody is sometimes you have a unique experience and a unique ability that everybody else might not agree with. But a lot of us don't have the confidence to say, you know what, I don't care what y'all say, this is what happens to me. This is what's real for me. We don't have the confidence to do that. We rather look in agreement and be the same than be unique. But in many ways, we are unique that other people might not be. But we have to have the confidence to accept our uniqueness and our own authenticity, our own authentic experience, and do so unapologetically. Okay? So thank you for that question, James W. Jennings. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, all right, all right. Okay, let's see. Excuse me. Let's see. Shauna A says, I'm creating projects about angels and other spiritual beings. Any ideas? Not for me. I don't look at angels in that way. So no ideas for me on that one, Shauna A. So that's a perspective that's unique to you in that sense. So that's not something that I necessarily look at. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Why is it so? Marcel Dominici. Let's see. Demaniche. I'm trying to get that right, Marcel. Says, why is it so difficult for some to acknowledge that Jesus is not real? That's a good question, and we talked about that here before, Marcel. But for a lot of people, they've been taught that their experience through Christianity, their experience of Jesus is real because Jesus died on the cross for them. So when you say Jesus did not exist historically, to them, they're saying, wait a minute, I know what I experienced. And I experienced because Jesus is real and died on the cross. So now if you tell me that Jesus didn't die on the cross, then that means you're telling me that I must be crazy and I didn't experience what I experienced. Okay? But they never consider that what their experience is, it was actually something that we all can experience, whether we believe in Jesus or not, as being historical and a real person. They've been taught and grilled so much and indoctrinated so much that they think that a historical Jesus equals their experience. They never consider that without the historical Jesus, they could still have the experience. So that's one of the reasons why it's hard for a lot of Christians to say that Jesus is not real or historical. Their experience is very real. That's not discounted. But when you say to them that Jesus didn't exist, they immediately assume, without even thinking it, without thinking the words, that they equated their experience of Jesus to a historical person. And that means that you are on some level calling them crazy. They don't necessarily think of it that way, but that's what's happening. That they can't acknowledge that. They don't even want to consider that idea that Jesus never existed historically. But you got to help them understand that you're not dismissing their experience. The spiritual experience and inner experience is definitely real. And they have to just consider that there's a possibility that they could have one without the other. But for many Christians, they can't even fathom that. They can't even fathom that idea. Okay. Good question. Good question. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. Taurus the Sun says, did Jesus not exist at all, or did he exist but did something else? Jesus, the person that we know of in the Bible, never existed. And I'm actually probably next month sometime, I'm actually going to be doing a workshop where I'm going to build a case for a non-historical or esoteric Jesus Christ. Okay. So I'm going to build a case to show you how I know that Jesus never existed. Okay, so that's going to bring in a lot of different ideas, but I'll be doing that sometime next month. I'll let you guys know when that's happening. So when I do that workshop, let's see. Yeah, Black Star Beauty. I've never heard of that, but I'd be interested to see that. But I Black Star Beauty. There's no doubt in my mind that Jesus never existed. There's just there's absolutely positively no doubt, you know. And there's a lot of us that number of people is growing, okay. But for a lot of people, they think that just because more people believe that he did, that means that there's more weight behind it. But there was more weight behind people believing in slavery, 400 years ago than not. So that didn't make it, just or whatever. So, but anyway, so no, I've never heard of that, but I have enough information and knowledge that I'm gonna put together a workshop and a class, and we're gonna go through that next month. So next month, I'm probably about 85% done with it. So, but working on it. All right. Well, all right, guys, it's about that time. Okay, it is 8:08 my time. All right, so we've been here for about an hour, and I'm going to give everybody a break and get off this channel. So all of you guys that gave tonight, thank you very much. To my moderators, Voice Shay, my daughter, and Ra, the creator, and the Dark Goddess. Thank you guys so much for being here as usual. I definitely appreciate your consistency for being here. I appreciate you so much. And again, all you guys that gave tonight, thank you again. And again, I know that's not about me. Y'all are priming the pump for yourselves, but I appreciate that I am the person that y'all were willing to give to. All right, Inspired One gave $9.99. Says, is it better to say, let me see, is it better to say there absolutely could have been a controversial rabbi with a cult following, minus the miracles, could have caused enough insecurities amongst the establishment and was killed? Why is that better? You're wanting me to like validate the nonsense, because I know that rabbi or whatever didn't exist. There's no truth in it. If you take away the Bible, Jesus will not exist, because that's the only people take everything back to the Bible about Jesus, except one thing that's been proven that it was a fraud, and that was Josephus and his what was that called? Josephus, the Flavium Testimonium, and that's been proven erroneous, so not true. But anyway, that's another time. I'll build my class, take my class here in the next month. All right, and I'll show you. But anyway, all right, guys. Good night, and y'all have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and we'll do it again next week. Okay, y'all have a good one.